this is Mark Crutcher, and this is LifeTalk, and I'm Mark Crutcher, and this is May 14th. May 24th. What is the deal with me?
It's all right. We got it.
This is LifeTalk for May 24th, 2017. I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us.
Are you sure?
We're here.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. We're getting spring fever or something around here.
I think so. Yesterday was nice out. It was a little bit cool and rainy. I think the high when I left was 63.
Yeah.
And in a couple of days, it's going to be about 95 or so.
They say between 95 and 100 in just a couple of days.
Yeah.
Plus, we had a major hailstorm.
Yes.
That hit my house. Fortunately, it didn't hit it in your area.
It didn't hit too bad.
But man, it sounded like our windows were breaking.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I got up at about 2:30 in the morning after the hailstorm passed and walked around the house to see if any of our windows were broken. But
Yeah.
that's springtime in Texas. You get
I know.
you get hailstorms.
Yeah, the weather changes dramatically.
It really does.
Yeah.
In an hour.
In an hour.
Yep.
That's right.
But anyway, it's supposed
Gotta
to
love Texas.
get up close to 100 here in a couple of days, and so
Yay for us. But
Yep.
luckily we're used to it.
we're used to it. That's what
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be steaming hot, huh?
Every year I get amazed at the weather forecast. They talk about how hot it is, and I'm thinking, dude, you live in Texas.
Yeah,
It's
right.
summer. It's going to be hot.
Right.
You
Why
know,
does
get
it
used to
shock
it.
you or surprise you?
All right, on to a more important subject.
Yep.
Something we've talked about on some recent shows, Renee, is we're seeing this phenomenon inside the pro-life movement, and we've always had infighting and backbiting and petty turf battles and all that kind of nonsense.
Right.
But we have this collection of people now that have come into the pro-life movement, many of whom I've talked to some of these people on the phone, and you say, "What have you been doing?" They haven't been doing anything, but all of a sudden, they're what I call grandstanders. They're coming in and they're trying to tell everybody in the pro-life movement how everything they've been doing is wrong. They're trying to claim that half the pro-life movement is in here to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that thinks you go into the pro-life movement to make money is a complete idiot.
Well, they go against everything that we're doing. They're making
vicious.
a lot of pro-lifers mad. Unfortunately, they need us on their side to help fight this battle, this war.
Well, yeah, and like I said, they're grandstanders, and I write about them in my new book, Siege.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen this phenomenon before. And of course, every time one of them calls me, the first thing I ask them is, "Well, what have you been doing for the last 20 years to stop abortion?"
Right.
And well, I wasn't convicted of it. Okay, then you had. In other words, what you're saying is
Mm-hmm.
you haven't been doing anything. You've
Yeah.
been doing nothing to stop it. And now your only contribution is to come in and tell everybody else what they're doing wrong.
Exactly.
They're coming in out of the stands. They're like the guy that sits in the stands with
Right.
a Dallas Cowboy jersey on
Right.
and tells everybody down on the field who's getting beat up and bloody noses and broken arms how they're doing everything wrong.
And I'm not sure that I should say this, but I'm going to. I almost feel like it's an occultic group.
Yeah.
It's very. I don't. That's just
It's
what it
cult-like.
reminds me of.
It is very cult-like, and if you disagree with them, then you're evil.
Yeah.
And but anyway, the interesting thing is, I got a phone call the other day from a physician that you and I both know very well, who's been a longtime supporter of Life Dynamics, and he had seen a couple of the things that Renee and I had said on the show about these people, and I won't use the name of the organization. It's one particular organization that's most guilty of all this stuff. But he said, "You guys are missing the boat," because he said one of you said something about these guys may be well intentioned, but they're going about it the wrong way or something, whatever he said. And he said, "I've had some dealings with these people in my community," and he said, "You're right about the fact that all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodwork. We never heard from them before. They've never made any impact in the pro-life movement. They're still not making any impact in the pro-life movement. They're just complaining about what everybody else is doing."
Right. And they're on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but they're on everybody's Facebook pages, and they start fights with everybody, and so it looks like a large group of people when in reality it's really not. It's
a small, tiny
yeah,
little group
right.
with big mouths, basically.
Right.
And you've had more run-ins with them than I have because you're on social
I'm on
media all the time, and
Facebook,
I'm
yeah.
not.
Right.
And you've had to have some. You've been called out by these people, and you've had to
Many times I had to unfriend some.
unfriend some of them, and some of them have been pretty nasty towards you.
Yeah, that's okay.
But anyway, This guy says, you guys, meaning me and you, Renee and I, are a little bit naive because you're saying, well, at least their heart's in the right place. They're just making decisions. He said their hearts are not in the right place. He said, I am 100% convinced that these people are infiltrators. Yeah. That they have been sent into the pro-life movement. That's why we've never heard from them before. That's why they've never done anything before.
Right.
But they have been sent into the pro-life movement to intentionally disrupt it and destroy it.
Cause chaos, yeah.
From inside.
You know, it's strange that that the doctor called and had this conversation with you the other day, because my husband and I have talked about this quite a bit because he has seen the attacks that have been going on with me personally, and he mentioned that same thing just this past weekend, the exact same thing that doctor is saying.
So you got two people that don't even know each other, totally independent,
right? Saying that,
and they've come to this conclusion independently of the same thing. And the more, and believe me, this doctor, you and I have talked to him many times over the years.
Yeah, neat guy.
And he is not a tinfoil hat kind of conspiracy theorist.
Right.
That's not who he is. He's a very intelligent,
right.
He's a medical doctor. He's got a very successful medical practice. And your husband is not a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. And they've come up with this. And I told this doctor, I said, you know, I'm not saying I totally buy into this, that these people are infiltrators. But the more I think about it, the more sense it makes.
Right.
And he's convinced, and I don't know whether Tim, your husband, has said anything about this or not, but he's convinced that people like George Soros or Ted Turner or Bill and Melinda Gates may be funding this. Because some of these people appear to have the money to travel and the money to go to all these things. And we know, for example, on all these campus unrest that we're seeing and all these protests we saw down in Austin a couple of years over HB2, it was eventually revealed that these people were paid to go there. They were being paid, what was it, $77 a day plus expenses like or something.
Right. Well, and you can't put it past them to do something like that.
Sure. No, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
So I don't know that this is true. But what I do know is that the pro-life movement better be vigilant about this. You know, there's the old saying, the cost of freedom is eternal vigilance.
Right.
This is a good example of that.
Right.
Whether we believe this is true or we don't believe it's true or we have any evidence of it or not is beside the point. We better be vigilant for this. And the reason we're doing this show, and we talked about it this morning about whether we should or not, but the reason we decided to do it is because you need to be aware of it. Before you start getting sucked into these people's little world and the things that they're saying, which are just preposterous and utter nonsense, use your head a little bit and think about what these people are saying.
Yeah, discern.
Be discerning, yes. Right.
Very.
Have the gift of discernment somehow or another. If you don't already have it, get it, you know, because these people could create havoc inside the pro-life movement.
They have.
But they only create as much havoc as we allow them to create. Because if we ignore them and if we see through them, if they are indeed infiltrators and we don't buy into it, they will go away eventually.
Right. You know, Richard just said on Facebook on the comments, he goes, let's infiltrate them.
Well, of course, we do that. That's what Life Dynamics is known for doing, is infiltrating the other side.
Right.
And we
have the IoT training to prove that. It's over a 4-hour DVD, 3 series.
Right.
Get it if you want it.
Yeah, that's right.
If you want to learn how to infiltrate.
If you want to learn how to get information, because I always say, the information we need to destroy the abortion industry is inside the abortion industry. And this IoT training she's talking about, that's Intel operations training. We produced a DVD of it because we used to do the live seminars here. And from that, we started going DVDs.
Yeah.
You will learn how to get the information out of the abortion industry that we need to take them down with.
Absolutely. And Edward says it is rules for radicals infiltration, and that's so true.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So
very true.
We do the same thing, but we have to be hyper vigilant. We don't have a George Soros out there pouring millions of dollars.
Unfortunately, we don't.
We don't.
But that's okay because we don't need their money anyways.
We don't need that. We can survive, and you know we've been going through some hard times here financially, but God didn't bring us this far to drop us in the grease. So you know somehow or another we will survive. But we don't have that big sugar daddy behind the scenes,
right,
who's willing to write $1 million checks or $10 million checks. But Tim and this doctor may be wrong about this. I hope that they are wrong about it. Yeah. But on the other hand, they might be right. But in either case, we need to be vigilant. We need to be watching out for this and make sure that we don't fall for the garbage that's being put out there about the pro-life movement. About these guys would have you believe that they are the keepers of the flame. They're the only people that understand truth. They're the only people who are pro-life. They're the only people who are Christians, and they will tell you that. They will.
I know
they have told you that.
Yes, they have.
They have. Well, they will openly tell you that they are the only people who are pro-life. They're the only people who are Christians.
We're gonna burn in hell because we don't have the same beliefs as them.
Right, and it's not a matter of beliefs about spiritual matters. It's a matter of we don't follow their lead on the abortion issue. If you don't follow their lead, you're going to go to hell. And it's scary.
The thing is the sad thing about it is I do follow what they're saying. It's just not everybody's going to be on board with that, and you're not going to get everybody on board with that. If we could, that would be great. Abortion would be ended today. It would have been a long time ago.
But you know, we've talked here before, Renee, about the fact that when in 1992, I've tried to bring you up to date on things that happened before you got into pro-life movement. In the early 90s, and when I started Life Dynamics, the abortion rate in America was about 5,000 a day, right?
Right.
With a much smaller population than it is today.
Yes.
Now the abortion rate is 3,000 a day with a much bigger population.
Right. Is that because of regulations?
It's because of all the educational activities that the pro-life movement's been involved in. It's because of all the bills that have been passed in the state legislatures around the country. And when these people will come out here and say, and they've said it to me and they've said it to you, you guys have accomplished nothing. I have literally had these people tell me that not just me, but the entire pro-life movement has accomplished nothing.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this. Those 2,000 babies that would have been killed today had it not been for the efforts of the pro-life movement over the last 25 or 30 years, 40 years, if those 2,000 babies had been killed, you're telling me those 2,000 babies are worth nothing? Right?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
And I'm telling you right now, had it not been for the pro-life movement, the abortion rate would not have gone from 5,000 a day to 3,000 a day.
Yeah.
It would have gone from 5,000 a day to 10,000 a day or more.
Right. Well, and Richard says it's been the pro-life movement activist since 1975. So, and even before then.
Right.
Even before then.
Right. So, yes, I mean, I can tell you people that have been in this since before Roe versus Wade. Of course, they're all older people now. Some of them have died off, but that's the reality. And heck, I'm getting old. I'm going to die off before long, so who knows when that might happen. But the fact is...
Not anytime soon.
You don't know that. You don't know that at all.
We're not going to let you.
Yes, right. But anyway, to sit here and for these people, I can understand if they want to come in and say, I think this tactic is wrong, I think this strategy is wrong, I think this could be done better, I think that's fine. That is perfectly acceptable because I see us doing things that I don't think are right and that I think we could do better. Everybody can have that opinion. But to come in here and say that you people are in this for the money and that you've accomplished nothing over the last 45 years is an out-and-out, bald-faced lie, and they know it is. And when you see that, and when you know that they know it's a lie, it leads credence to what Tim believes and what this doctor believes, that these people are in here for some reason other than to stop abortion.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Right.
And we better be vigilant. Now you're grinning over there.
Well, because Jonathan says, but ... chemical abortions with emergency birth control ... Well, it just moved. Negate that 5,000.
That's nonsense.
And then there's more that he says, but I can't see the whole comment.
That's utter nonsense. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's not to say that we don't have more chemical abortions today than we did 30 years ago. That's not to say that. But there's been other offsetting factors too. I can promise you the abortion rate has gone down. I don't care what he says, and he knows it. And I don't know this person. He may be one of these people. I have no idea. But I've heard this nonsense before. It is garbage. And it feeds into this narrative that these people are trying to say, that the pro-life movement has accomplished nothing. And they will literally stand in front of you, they have done it with me, and say, you guys have wasted 40-something years, you've accomplished nothing. They're bald-faced liars if they say that. But anyway, we're out of time for this segment. Have you got anything else?
No, I don't.
You're done.
I'm done.
You're done.
I mean, there's more that I could say, but
You'd probably be better off not
we're
to.
not. Yeah. I mean.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you next time.